Do we have to review?
Yeah, we do. I'm afraid, Kev.
I'm not sure this is an actual review.
Yeah.
But that's okay. It's fine. It's a thing.
Some words. Some words associated with this album.
I mean, it's Tommy, isn't it? You know, it's £4. That's the only reason I've got it, really, isn't it? It's because it was £4. I thought, well, £4. It's a massive classic. You know, hallowed ground. And I think, in terms of us messing up hallowed ground or doing whatever we do, upsetting people, this has got to be the most controversial album we've ever said. I think, because this is a huge album. It's big album, bigger than big. You know, it is a cohesive double concept album. It is an actual piece. It's not just some songs, and yet they are individual songs. It is genuine symphonic rock. Their manager penned the phrase rock opera. You know, that's what it really is, and they're really good at overtures. I've now discovered listening to lots of albums. It is revered as a masterpiece. It's supposed to be one of the best albums ever made. It will always be in those lists people make. It's also still groovy in 60s at this point. Recorded in 69, written in 68, recorded in 69. Just enough Austin Powers. It is the stereotypical messianic journey. And I get really bored. I put it on, and then I forget it's on. And then Pinball Wizard comes on, I think, oh, I know this, yes. And then I realise Pinball Wizard isn't all that either. They got better songs than that. And then I just can't be bothered.
And then eventually it finishes.
And then the album finishes, and I think, oh, right, okay, great, finished. Because I wasn't really listening. Most of it, I just wasn't listening. Why? Why can I not get into this? This is hard, you know. On the previous album, the last track is like a precursor to this, and it's like a little rock opera concept piece. It's called Rail. R-I-E-L. That's how, you know, and I don't like it. Well, no, it's not that I don't like it. I just does nothing for me. I just can't get into it. And in having to review it, I appreciate what's there and I can say what's good about it. But I don't want to listen to it. I don't enjoy it. I don't like it. You know, I mean, The Lamb isn't anything like it. But Phil probably thought it was. You know. So what the hell's going on there? I think that's what we have to talk about. Why is this boring? What's going on? Is it like a joke? It's a big running joke in the industry. Everyone must say that it's the classic, and it's really boring. Why is that?
Right. Yeah, it's mush, isn't it? That's the problem. It's just nothing particularly interesting about the actual music. Now, I kind of assumed that we would. You mentioned The Lamb because of Rail, maybe, but I thought we were going to talk about The Wall. Really, this is The Wall is where this can go. Yeah, it is the realization of this sort of concept.
Yeah, I mean, this is much more of a musical achievement than The Wall. Actually, well, I don't know. That's really hard to. The actual music on The Wall. It's just. It's just a couple of chords, is it? You know, this is a proper rock opera. You know?
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, but I mean, okay. Let's talk about the story. Yeah, which is just so bizarre.
Yeah.
Some kid's convinced by his mom that he's blind and everything else.
Yeah.
And there's some really dark things in there, like Fiddle About. But the music doesn't represent that in any way, whereas The Wall does.
Yeah.
So Fiddle About, you wouldn't know it was about anything sinister. And what's the really acid? Is it Acid Queen or is it Underture? Underture's like the big one, isn't it?
Yeah.
But there's one that's supposed to be quite trippy and all that, and it's not very trippy.
No.
And this is the 60s, man.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
They
seem really high as well. Have you noticed that in the 60s? Yeah. The Who, la 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 la.
Yeah, and they've got Keith Moon, the drumming. You expect crazy drumming, and it's not actually that crazy. It's just sort of drumming. And it just turns into a big ball of mush.
Boring.
But you can still say it's a great album because it is something different. There is nothing before this that is like this. It is genuinely quite unique and a unique idea. So I feel that The Wall is the expression of that idea as opposed to this.
Yeah,
I don't think you can really hold the Who to blame for that because they broke new ground, man.
Yeah, that's what's so ridiculous.
You can actually say that, yeah.
Yeah.
This is something fairly new.
They invented the prog.
Yeah. But the problem is, other bands have come along and attempted a similar sort of thing and done it better, as you would expect.
Yes.
Because things are supposed to get better, And that's. I mean, ultimately, Pinball Wizard is the high point of the album.
Yeah.
And the high point of The Wall is the trial.
Yeah.
And that is the end of the album. That is where the high point should be.
Yes. That's the thing. You get to Pinball Wizard and then can't be arsed with this now.
No. I mean, I do quite like Underture.
Yeah.
It's quite cool, but I mean, even that, it drags on, You're enjoying it, but it takes it too far.
Keeps going.
It keeps going. You're like, okay, you've done this now. I mean, what are we adding to the thing by keeping it going? And this is not an album that. I mean, you look at the time signatures of the songs. You wouldn't have thought this is an album that overdoes songs. Because they all. I mean, it's quite an achievement to stick a track on for 1 minute 31, or 1 minute 35 on an album.
Just like The Wall. The Wall does that as well.
Yeah, it's quite an achievement, but it is so forgettable. I mean, there's 24 tracks, and I can probably remember about 3 of them.
Same here. Yeah, it's been on. The album's been on, and it's finished playing, and it's finished.
Yeah.
Controversial.
I don't know if it is though. I think it's fairly. I don't think you can expect any more than that. That's the thing. You can't invent something.
It's brilliant.
Yeah, you can't invent something or a new way of making music or whatever, and then expect it to be the finest example of that.
Yes.
It just doesn't happen, does it? That's unrealistic, or it very rarely happens. Yeah. I mean, musically, is The Wall a rock opera? I mean, Waiting for the Worms is the closest thing to actually the music sounding like it, because Waiting for the Worms really is like a rock opera. But this is like that all the way through. So maybe it's more that it's a musical. It's like a musical. It's like Jesus The Wall,
Christ
I suppose, yeah. I mean, but what is opera if it's not a musical? It is a form of musical, isn't it?
Yeah. But we'll do the other Who albums, and I don't have this problem. It turns out I didn't know that because I bought this for £4 and then never bought any others. Isn't it weird? I still don't know why. Because we've rationalised it, but
you got to remember as well.
So highly regarded as
I mean, The Lamb is slightly different in the sense that it was. I mean, that sort. I don't know if this is fair to say, but that's the sort of story arc element of it was driven by Peter Gabriel.
Yes.
And I'm not sure the other guys really bought into it.
No, that's the thing.
The Wall, they had a producer that really believed into it and believed it and pushed it, and he was fully on board. no one knew this was supposed to be other than Pete Townsend.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's not enough, is it? Because you need that external sort of more objective view to say, no, you're not achieving what you're setting out to achieve. But if no one really understands what it is he's trying to achieve because it's so different, he's trying to do it all on his own.
Yeah. The difference between the first version of the wall and the final version, is Bob Ezrin. The first and the second version, of course, the idea is, we'll make it sound like Pink Floyd. Okay, it sounds like Pink Floyd now, but it's not really the wall now. So we'll go a bit back, but it's got a sound, and that's what Bob Ezrin did so amazingly. I'm not a fan of Bob Ezrin really. I don't know what it is he does to produce, but I don't like the things he does usually. But obviously the wall is really unique though. The wall, there isn't really anything like it, although Roger Waters keeps trying to remake it. None of those things are really like the wall.
I mean, so with this, it's a strange subject which isn't really reflective of anyone in the band. Whereas the wall, they had the secret weapon of Roger Waters, which was he was psychoanalyzing himself basically, and he was sort of, I think he was aided by the fact that he kind of thought Pink Floyd was over.
Yes.
So there's plenty of tension there and plenty of conflict for him to work with, which really goes into the music. And
and yet here it's Pete Townsend is writing about some kid, and in the end he becomes the Messiah or something. And what's that got to do with Pete Townsend?
Yeah,
it's just a story, isn't it? He's written a story, so we make a concept album.
And all that just adds up to it's mush. It's sort of don't know.
So controversial, the ultimate controversy. Sorry. I assume we will, like we do, we'll attract Who fans with one-word responses who will never come back ever again. What can we say?
Long, tedious.
Long. Yeah, and when we say it's long, we're a prog channel. I wish you only like 3.5 minute pop songs. No,
we've reviewed Tales from Topographic Oceans or whatever it is, and
and we've done Nurse with Wound, and we've done Magma. So shut up. But we just don't get it. We don't get it. That's what you should be discussing in the comments. Tell us. Do you agree, or do you think we're mad? And why are we mad? What's going on? I don't get it.
Tell us how to enjoy this album.
Because I hear the influence it had on neo-prog. There's bits in it that's in every neo-prog album ever.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know who's listened to this album and thought, oh, that means I can make an album like this. I don't know if that's what happened with The Lamb. Certainly, I don't think that's what happened with The Wall. I think The Wall is just a natural evolution of Roger Waters' psychological disintegration.
Yes. I think The Lamb, I think that's definitely a thing. I mean, the fact that the character's called Rail.
Yeah.
He realised the end of his name was the name of a Who song. Can't be a coincidence. But the Lamb is kind of. I mean, it's not. He didn't finish the lyrics. They had to finish the lyrics for him while he was off. And it was all pieced together. And yet, it's so good. To me, it's the best thing in the world ever. And I can't be arsed with this. So what's that about?
But I mean, well, as we said when we reviewed that, it's got moments, that are just completely epic, which Genesis was so good at that time. There are no moments on that. Even Pinball Wizard, as you say, it's actually a very meh song. You expect it to be this. You expect it to be this big thing, and then you listen to it and you think, well, that's actually quite boring.
Yeah. There's better Who songs than Pinball Wizard.
Yeah, definitely.
Is that their most famous song? I mean, what if someone said The Who to you? What song would you say? Pinball Wizard, and that would be it.
Behind Blue Eyes, that would be.
I don't know.
I don't know. No one knows what it's like to be the bad man.
Yeah, I know that one. There we go. Yeah, and
Yeah,
I can
that
see for
that's,
miles and miles.
Yeah, that's my. I don't know if it's called Behind Blue Eyes, but that's my Who song.
My generation.
Yeah, of course.
It's famous songs. There are famous songs, and I know some that come after this album as well.
Yeah, My Generation is actually much better than anything on here.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. But without, we should say, without the Who, there would be no Phil. There will be no Phil Collins, I don't think. He really, really likes the Who. He was ready to leave when Keith Moon died. He contacted the Who and said, "Right, I'm leaving Genesis. I'll join you." That's how much he likes the Who. They said no, yeah.
Because Pete Townsend thought he was rubbish.
Yeah, I mean, well, the story goes, we've already got another drummer, Phil. Sorry.
You're a talentless bum, and we don't want you.
I don't know if they knew him, if they knew he's playing, they would have said yeah. But if they didn't, maybe they'd think, well, he's not going to be right for the Who. He's not going to go crazy and bash, bash, bash.
I just think the Who are a strange bunch, I find Pete Townsend quite obnoxious.
Yeah.
I think
the two of them are very, really obnoxious, yeah. And the other guy is there.
I don't even know who the drummer is. Who took over from Keith Moon?
I can't remember his name. And it's weird, he's nothing like Keith Moon. He's like a session drummer, kind of keep the time kind of.
Yeah,
guy.
Keith Moon's drumming's not particularly wild, is it?
No. Well, like I said, there'd be no Phil Collins. The next thing I've written is, and there will be no one for Bill Broofer to be snobby about. Because he kind of does just go mad, but he doesn't know. It's like me doing it.
Well, I get the sense, I mean, this is just pure conjecture, but the people that Pete Townsend takes pot shots at are people who have done what he does, but better.
Yeah.
So, like Led Zeppelin, John Bonham is like Keith Moon plus. He's what you expect Keith Moon to be.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And he says about Pink Floyd, Dave Gilmour's the only guy with any talent in there. But, I mean, Roger Waters is a much better songwriter than Pete Townsend.
Yeah. So he's not saying Dave Gilmour is good. He's having a pot shot at Roger Waters because he's the songwriter. Yeah. And there's no need for that. It's unnecessary. He did also say, famously, I mean, with my In the Court CD box set, I got the poster of the original advert, which quoted Pete Townsend saying In the Court was an uncanny masterpiece. And he's written this whole thing about how great it was. Which is really interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting.
So he kind of likes random things, I think. It's one of them, he has his own opinions and no one understands why he has his opinions.
And why he's so forthright with them. I think that's the query. We've all got our strange opinions.
Yeah, I mean,
but why is he so forthright?
Yeah, the fact he doesn't like Led Zeppelin, well, so what?
A lot of people,
Led Zeppelin don't talk about other bands at all.
No.
Which I think roils the other bands, I think.
Yeah.
But they don't say, they're not the Who. But yeah, it's obviously because the Led Zeppelin were bigger than the Who, weren't they, obviously?
Yeah.
And yet, everyone has heard of the Who. More than Led Zeppelin.
I think you're right, yeah. I mean, I'd heard of the Who. I just assumed the Who were this big thing, and I wasn't particularly sure why I should have heard of them, but I definitely had.
Yeah, I mean, so this album, it's so influential. I think that's what it is. That's all I can get out of it. Obviously, Gentle Giant would have heard that album. Definitely. It doesn't mean that Gentle Giant sounded like that, because of course they didn't. But they definitely heard it.
It expands the possibilities of what you can do on an album.
Yeah.
Or what a band can do. Yeah. Into new areas, and therefore it's definitely worth something. It has merit.
Yeah. We have to egg it. We have to think of eggs.
that doesn't insult the entire world?
I think we already have, so it doesn't matter. We've already been very insulting, so...
The strapline for the review of it has merit.
It has merit. I mean, you have to be honest about this. It's all about our love of music. It's all about, and it's three eggs because that's what it means to me.
Yeah, I agree.
That's what matters.
3 eggs. I'm a three-egger on this. I'm never ever going to listen to this again.
Neither am I. And I own the CD. Which I've
You
had
paid
for
£4
years.
for it.
Yeah, and it's sat on the shelf for years because it's just.
Yeah, with inflation, that'd be like £4.75 now.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, also, you can't get Alexa to play it. Alexa will play the other albums, but not that one. It plays something else called Tommy. I don't know what it is. Even if you say play the album Tommy by The Who, it doesn't work. It plays some other thing.
Conspiracies.
So, yeah. Our most controversial review.
Yeah.
But I did realise that we should have done The Who.
Well, you made us do it, Kev.
Yeah. So we are doing Who's Next and Quadrophenia. And we're not doing any others. We're not doing any others. But we are doing those ones. And the pain is over. So it's fine. See you next week.